long time. Through it all, we must not give up. Mike and I were here, it seems about 2 years ago, when Kevin Cooper, was within 3 hours of dying, and that night the Supreme Court spared his life, and he's still alive on the inside. Tonight the court has not ruled in that way. But through all of this, I met today with Barbara and Tookie twice. We had prayer on both occasions. It met me first with so much joy and so much hope, saying, I feel good, I have no fear, I have been here before through valleys and shadows of death, with bullets passing and whizzing past my head, and yet I feel good. As a social transformer, as a redeemer, his impact upon people around the world has given him a new lease, a new life, a new joy, a new hope. And to that extent, he wants those who love him and who have found joy in his works to live out that legacy and to be anti-violent and anti-gang and anti-drug and to choose hope. And that is his lasting message. And we had prayer, and I told him I will see you in the morning, and we laughed and we embraced. He said, I don't laugh very much, but now when children write me, or when they read my book, it makes me laugh, it makes me happy. That's my highest joy, he said. The 11 came out here, and then we found out that the word had come over the wire service. I went back in and shared the information with Barbara and with Tookie that the governor had ruled that clemency would be denied. I was disappointed in that decision when, like Pontius Pilate, he had life and death in his hand, and by washing his hand, in effect, chose death. Not long ago, I was in South Africa meeting with Nelson Mandela, and in his foundation building, there's a big picture of Mr. Schwarzenegger and Mr. Mandela. And why would Mr. Schwarzenegger and the world embrace Nelson Mandela? Because though his friends had been killed, his wife had been put in exile, and though he spent 27 years in jail, and though there had been massacres in Soweto, and though Chris Hani had been assassinated in South Africa, Mr. Mandela chose redemption over revenge. For that we say he's a great guy. He deserves a Nobel Peace Prize because he chose redemption over revenge. And so Mr. Schwarzenegger took the picture with Mr. Mandela, but he didn't learn the lesson of choosing redemption over revenge. Why kill him 25 years later? He is no threat to society. What value is he dead? He's a trophy for some, but then he's a martyr for others. Dead, he becomes a ghost of the past, becomes alive through his works. Why try to kill killing with killing? We must feel remorse for those who were killed 25 years ago. We're all against killing and we're against violence, and we should be. We should stop easy access to guns and drugs and violence, but then do not be quick to say slam dunk on murderers. We said slam dunk in Iraq, and the slam dunk didn't quite come out that way. 122 have walked off of death row, mostly because they were wrongfully convicted in the first place. And so when an OJ or a Blake faces this challenge with money and dream team lawyers, they walk away. Or when Jennifer in Tampa, Florida, Jennifer Porter, she hit 4 children, she killed 2 of them, and she fled the scene. Her father washed the blood from her car. She went to school and taught children the next day as if nothing had happened. For 5 days, the mother pleaded, "Who killed my children?" And someone and told the police, and through investigation, and told the police, and through investigation, they found that she killed those 2 babies last year. For that, she got 3 years of probation and not a day in jail. What are the standards we're using to kill people? Why would California set up a Senate commission on fair justice, a Senate committee in January and kill in December? And so we must keep fighting for justice. I think Tookie's last words to me were that those who care about my legacy and my view, avoid violence, avoid self-destruction. Don't let my death dash your hopes and revive your cynicism and your fears. Live on and work on together. I believe in redemption, because our jails at their best should be redeeming or rehabilitating, or they should be punishing, and they should be torturous. We choose redemption and rehabilitation over torture. That's right. At its best, this is the American way. Our faith tradition, do not forget, Moses did kill 2 men. Yes, and we call it justifiable homicide. He was a fugitive from the law, but bounced back to be a great Old Testament leader. Don't forget that it was David who got Uriah killed. He might have Bathsheba, and they begat Solomon. And he fell from grace but rose again.
Let that be the legacy of Tookie Williams and his execution. Let it mobilize us to go back to our young brothers and our young sisters who have lost hope in society because they've removed the opportunities from our community and replaced them with guns and drugs for them to kill themselves with. And then those left standing, they bring them here to San Quentin, where they make money off of their backs by employing them with slave labor, paying less than $1 an hour to work on jobs where they make products that's sold into the open market. We must fight back against the injustice of the prison industrial system in this country and start lifting up our young people where they are locking up our young people. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Big hand for Judge Mathis. Now a man who has captured my heart and our imagination with such an authentic force for good in this world. A real big hand for Mike Farrell. Put your hands together.
Thank you, Reverend Jackson. Thank you, Judge Mathis. I want to thank all of you for being here tonight yet again. Many of you have been here before. All of you are here to say we can do better. We in this society must do better. We will not allow the cowardly politicians to drag us through the mud along with themselves on their path to power, because we know that their path is a prostitute's path. We know that their path will only lead to their own failure, and we will not follow that path. There have been claims made that the execution of Stanley Williams will result in an eruption of violence on the part of gangbangers. We are here to say that we mourn the loss of this man of peace. We mourn the loss of this good man, a teacher who put away violence, who put away the gang life, who put away drugs, who put away guns, and reached out with his powerful voice and said to young people, do not do what I did, listen to me, look at the lesson that I have learned, and learn it before you have to suffer what I have suffered. This was a man, this is a man, and his memory will stay with us, a man of peace, a man of decency, a man who thought, a man who was willing to ask the tough questions of himself that those people who would lead us today, those power mongers who would lead us today, are unwilling to ask of themselves because they fear what the answers might be. Now, we have in this country an elected vice president who has become the cheerleader for torture around the world. The governor of our state evidently learned that lesson well.
They're covered it up.
If you see anybody that's selling coffee, let me know.
There's a couple of guys around here selling
Cocoa.
cocoa. Yeah.
I want coffee.
Oh man, that could turn me out of a black hole. More of a brain, you know?
The number's 916-445-2841.
No. There's way too many people in power positions living with hate in their minds. Some of them even think that they have the right to be faking the role of the Most High. When it comes to taking a black man's life, I wonder if they think twice. Would they rather us die than leave us alive in a 4x9 foot sand for life? How do they justify a homicide as a punishment for homicide? Retaliation's just an eye for an eye, right? So who are the thugs now that the powers change hands? Any official who doesn't stand against them killing of this man?
From the hoes of y'all ships, the crack of y'all whips, unloading of y'all clips, Vietnam and Iraq.
Sneak by you. Sorry, thank you.
Calling on all blood and all crips, soon revolution go by. This Ku Klux Klan, black man, murder don't stop. Off top, we gon' ride by the mill.
After that, I need room. Because I don't want a light one. That's my shirt. But I'll give you a coal so you can share one of mine. I don't even have a driver's license. I've been there for that one.
What was that movie star's name that was here?
I don't.
My son.
But everybody wanna live. Nobody really wanna die. You feel me, right? I can't be watching people die.
Huh? You want some of this? Orange and tangerine. You probably are going to die before me, but you promise to dance my show if I get to buy a car or something.
Express the peace that we're feeling, that we want to spread to our steakhouse. And I'm not here to address the redemption of Stanley Williams. I'm here to talk about how Arnold Schwarzenegger can redeem himself. And he can redeem himself by stopping the executions in this holiday season. Tonight's execution is the first of 3 that we're expecting in just a couple short months. The next execution that's planned is a 75-year-old diabetic blind man in a wheelchair.